The best salesmen know how to find the most qualified consumers. Then the best con artists know how to spot the most gullible victims in the crowd. In your eyes, what do you think are the most popular consumers? It's very simple. Us children and even adults are the perfect target in the eyes of the merchants.
As society develops, it's normal today for children to want more toys and games. But has it always been this way? Or is there a marketing tactic behind this?
How do adults being encouraged to behave like children and being indulged to spend on impulse?
What makes these young children so special that they are specifically targeted by businesses?
Hello everyone! The last video revealed how businesses profit from people's fears. This time, let's shift the focus and look at how marketers turn children into model consumers.
In the last 50 years, children have become prized consumers. Kids in the UK and the US contribute up to £700 billion in sales each year. The youngsters have become the major spenders in the family. Because children are still young and naive, they have a strong urge to get anything they want. Most parents love their children and are willing to fulfill their various wishes. Children thus have access to the parents' pocket. Studies show that most children can recognize hundreds of cartoon characters while they are 3 or 4 years old. However, these seemingly unobtrusive imaginary characters grant businesses lucrative opportunities. A new marketing model that sells products through fun and play was born. People test children's favorite characters for toy makers in the New York Play Lab. When an IP image is found to be universally loved by children, it will be widely used in advertising, and a range of products will then emerge featuring this image. When children are young, they think, I like these characters, but as they get older, they start to think that I want to be like these characters. But no matter what, they will buy products related to the characters to bring themselves closer to their idols. Therefore, for businesses, copyright becomes a valuable thing. When a product is associated with a successful IP image, the price tag can be increased by up to 50% of the original price. The same applies to adults, where simply replacing Peppa Pig with a star, such as David Beckham, can bring in huge profits. This practice is known as licensing. The licensing system was invented by George Lucas, who directed Star Wars in 1977. Even today, many people still love it and watch it repeatedly. The storyline is simple, a classic good versus evil story. But it is a story that children and adults in every corner of the world have gone crazy about. As the film got hotter, Lucas soon sensed that behind each movie character was a lucrative business opportunity. This discovery changed the consumer market for IP images around the world. But before his success, Lucas had trouble even finding a company willing to back up his idea, until he met Toy Kenner. They developed a simple but revolutionary scheme. Design figurines based on the movie characters and intentionally made as small as 18 centimeters. Figurines allowed consumers to create mini environments around it, with cars, houses, and such. Customers will naturally want to collect the whole set of figurines, which creates a vast market where people buy more oversized items in the series. For example, this Millennium Falcon. Because sets of toys stir consumers' desire to collect them all, thus driving them to buy more. As Star Wars gained a wider influence, the market grew to costumes, t-shirts, and even everyday lifestyle items. Profits from licensing also increased dramatically. By 2014, it had a turnover of over £13 billion. Star Wars is a classic example of the success of creating an IP image through film and television. It pioneered the licensing system. But why do businesses choose to use film and television to reach children? In the 1970s, there were not many channels for businesses to communicate with children, as kids often have many protectors in the form of parents, teachers, and the government. Television would bypass these protectors and influence children directly. Because parents had no control over what was being shown on television, advertisement could reach everyone. Adults were also less opposed to television and would grant their children some TV time. So businesses quickly smelled this loophole and took advantage of it. Soon, screens were filled with all sorts of advertisements aimed at children, such as sweets, toys, and films. Others then picked up on it and began to call out against it. But there was nothing that could be done, because the government chose profit over children. Even if the government wanted to do something about it, their opponents were far too powerful. As a result, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission has not taken any action on the matter. In the end, it provided film and television programs a window to influence children, which allowed businesses to sell and advertise directly to children.
Even though businesses already made huge profits from the children's market, it was still not enough. They were inspired from the children's market. If they could make adults to behave just like children and gratify wants instantaneously and irresponsibly, then adults will bring in bigger sales. To get adults to spend as impulsively as children, businesses encourage adults to indulge the youngster within them. So, how do they motivate adults to be more childlike? There are two ways to do this. For businesses, adults' biggest flaw is their rationality. And the way to hack rational thinking is to persuade them to indulge in their desires, just like children. That will lead to compulsive shopping. Once people get used to spending freely, it is easier to pitch adults. To get to this end, companies utilized a marketing tactic known as gamification. They designed various types of games, targeting different groups. They also developed ways to make people addicted to their games, and then irrationally spending follows. For example, Microsoft's Fable is a highly violent game that allows workers who live under constant mental stress to let off steam by fighting and killing in a virtual world. And they also designed an achievement loop, where the system keeps track of records you set in the game and allows you to compare scores with others. Based on this ranking, players are then rewarded accordingly. The theory is simple. When succeeding in a challenge, brain secretes dopamine, which makes you feel happy and long for more. Another example is Neopets, designed by a British couple. This game lets you keep and raise virtual pets. Unlike Fable's violent outbursts, Neopets mainly target women who have a need to satisfy their motherly instinct, such as taking care of others and nurturing their young. Although the game seems plain, they once had over 50 million users and were especially popular in Australia and Singapore. Here's the trick. Players feel like they have to log onto the website every day to take care of their pets, to keep them alive. If people don't want the time and money spent on their pet to be wasted, they must log on every single day. This is called stickiness, which attracts players to visit a site repeatedly. Soon, big companies started to insert advertising in the game. In the past, businesses had rarely had a chance to reach so many captive customers, who would choose to click away when ads pop up. However, players have no choice but to look at ads if they want to play the game. Neopets gave these large companies the opportunity to integrate their brands into the content of their websites, often as part of the game. For example, players can make their own burgers, which is McDonald's idea, or play side games like Colgate's Wheel of Brush. In this way, brands could interact directly with players. This is known as immersive advertising, incorporating sales into games, making adults cling more to spending. In addition to gamification, merchants are equipped with another powerful tool: credit cards. The problem with grown-up consumers is their thinking and caution. Merchants want adults to be like children, who, when seeing something they like, will wish to have it no matter what, who often cries or shouts, I want it now." Credit system is the merchant's facilitator. In the 1980s, the credit card snowballed in popularity. It transformed people's spending patterns by allowing them to shop before paying, leaving the bills for later. This reinforced people's habit of buying at will and seize the moment, enjoy your life kind of lifestyle. But when we pay cash, we feel the pain of losing money and become uncomfortable when shopping. So we will think before buying. But when we swipe a card, there's no pain to remind us of the money losing. So we will spend more, even more than twice as usual. Merchants do whatever they can to diminish any discomfort people may have when shopping, making shopping a more pleasant experience. For example, credit cards and PayPal, which is another online payment. This makes shopping easier and more enjoyable for people to believe in the illusion of no consequences. Humans have a natural tendency to believe that the future will be better. So, most people think that they can afford to pay the bill when it arrives.
So, we see from the above what we consider pure and wonder, such as a child's heart, is in fact a tool that can be exploited in the merchant's eyes. Marketers study you and me and come up with all sorts of methods to get you to behave irrationally like children and go for what we want. It is human nature to gratify desires and also our innate instinct. But we can choose to manage our desires, and that's what makes us different from animals. With our brains and awareness, we can make each choice a creation rather than reaction. Think before act. When we act with reason and caution, we are making the world a more reasonable place, making us a more rational being.